and understand it as a long-term project, which is what I was saying is just like our major scale thing. With modes, we figured out that having a stringed instrument with a grid allows us to play everything up front using familiar stuff, and then long-term project is what do all these intervals sound like? When do I use these modes, aside from knowing which ones go over a minor chord, which ones go over a major chord? So that just is a long-term project. And whatever ear training stuff you can do on top of what we're doing is time well spent. And the riffs you learned are ear training. Every time you stack one up and you can actually hear like, versus just knowing it's going to work, and you can start going to bang. Alright, anyway, so just gonna go through in C we were like, I'm still playing a number 1, there's the root. If I look at what I'm doing there, instead of the major scale, 1. Put this raised fourth, and that's Lydian. So G Lydian, I'm like playing a number 1, or thinking about a number 1, arriving at the answer, that's just D major excuse me, so song in D. You're playing in D against this thing in G. Then we get to mixed Lydian, super useful because of the flat 7th in there. Everything else is the same. It's definitely a major scale substitution. So, I'm thinking about a number 2, or going G mixed Lydian is C. So Lydian, mixed Lydian. And then we get to minor, which we've been doing the whole way. These are the exact same concepts, like how if you were in a song in G minor and you decided you wanted to play 1 through 7 diatonic, you'd be like, alright, I'm going to play in B flat. And becomes sofa couch over time, like A minor C, you just don't even have to think about it that way anymore. Repeated exposure to this will lead to the same thing. These don't come up as much. So we were just like, 1's Lydian, G Lydian C, 2's mixed Lydian, G mixed Lydian C, 3 is minor. And then we get the Locrian, which is really twisted. We're used to, and I just moved everything to half step. That's the only one that has the tritone in there. So yeah, that's describing staying in G, playing in G sharp, which should just sound weird, but it's cool. Also, it's really interesting. And anyway, so that's just to get the answer or whatever. A Locrian's A sharp. Cool. So 5 is just major Ionian. We don't need any conversion. That's the one we've been focused on. It is one of the 7 modes, and it's the Devrine hostility going. Cool, and so that's what I mean by ear training wise. You want to get to the point, long-term project with each one of these, where just like your ear is so trained to hear going because of libido, that you can do it in your sleep, getting all these other raised and lowered scale trees where you can do that. And it just is a long-term project. We can do like kind of ear training stuff together, but it's mostly you exploring that over years.
It's like learning how each mode sounds, really.
Yeah, totally. That's the bigger goal. When we realize playing everything everywhere is just, oh shit, I play in D at the end, Cool, so we were just at Dorian, which is our 6, like G Dorian. Super useful. 1, however you're playing it, and like that on our map, or but it's like if you were up in this part of the fretboard, you might not know the 3rd, the 4th string notes, like without having to think about this is A sharp or whatever. So just that conversion is really easy to picture. It's like, okay, so song in G, I want to play Dorian, I'm gonna play in F. Cool. And then Phrygian is our 7, where I'm going. So what I drew down, so anyway, just like stop, take some time exploring this. The good thing to do is just like play like a chord and just like play some of one mode and mess around with it, do the next one. Don't put too much weight on the task of memorizing which one corresponds to which fingering. Like just memorize that shit like 3 capital style, 1's Lydian, 2's mixed Lydian, and so forth, rather than adding any like deductive reasoning stuff. So if that's the first thing to do, it's just like, be like, alright, 1's Lydian, 2's mixed Lydian. Like I was saying during the lesson, we're going to start to refer to fingering 1 as 1 Lydian, and fingering 2 as 2 mixed Lydian, and 6 as 6 Dorian. Cool, man. So, it's like song in G, I want to play Lydian, I'm going to play in D. Song in G, I want to play mixed Lydian, I'm going to play in C. Song in G, I want to play minor, A sharp. song in G, I want to play Locrian. G sharp, song in G, I want to play Dorian. F, song in Phrygian. You can now play every mode at every fret, you know? So the hardest you can make this is by doing like fret-specific modal conversions, where instead of starting in conversion position, you start up the neck. And don't do this first. Start by just like kind of leaning on conversion position and then playing sectionally around it. You know, being like, all right, I'm playing 1, so here's 2, and here's 7. But that said, I was like, play G mix Lydian at the 10th fret. You know, so that does not start. Let's just zoom to the 10th fret. It's going to start for a while with just going, that's C, you know, and then going to the 10th fret and playing F6 because you're playing in C. So that's as difficult as you can make it. It's just pick a random fret, pick a random root, pick a random mode, like F Dorian at the 12th fret, you know. So F Dorian D flat, I'm on the 12th fret playing an E flat, kind of have to spread out and play a 5 or dip back and play a 4 or something, and the right notes will come out. So yeah, how about that? You can play every mode everywhere.
Cool.
And so yeah, play everything everywhere. Turns out it's easy. Internalize how they all sound. Long-term concepts.